And we are back here on WLT's 1370 AM. And look, I probably shouldn't take as much joy from this story because it is unfortunate, but I do like watching scam artists. And I love when we in the black community root out scam artists. I personally do myself. And because there's so many times I feel like we allow people to latch themselves onto us if they are willing to, if they seem like they're willing to take up our cause on some level. We have a lot of patience with people, in my opinion, who don't do us a lot of good. And one of them is Shaun King. Okay. And and he has basically run afoul recently of a lot of black people, but particularly the mother of Tamir Rice. Her name is Samaria Rice, and she's the mother of the 12-year-old boy who was gunned down in 2014 in Cleveland within a split second of seeing him. Now, she was already a outspoken critic of social justice activists who she says are chasing clout. But she doubled down on her sentiment on Tuesday when she put Shaun King on blast in an Instagram post that questioned everything from his integrity to his race.
Wow.
In response to the activist and journalist publishing an episode of his podcast, which included too much information for her liking. Now, she began the post by saying, "Why do you think it's so important to tell people that we had a conversation?" Before going on to say that Shaun King is trying to attract attention for himself instead of the social justice causes he purports to care so much for. She also referred to reports that he embezzled thousands of dollars by exploiting her son's name. She also talked about the criticism of his fundraising practices that came under fire when a 2015 Washington Post article could not account for $60,000 in online donations. She said, "Personally, I don't understand how you can sleep at night. I never gave you permission to raise a doggone thing." She went on to say that they had a cop and donut discussion, which included nothing but lies from him. "Please stop thinking we're on the same page. As a white man acting black, you are an imposter that cannot be trusted." Wow. She unloaded the clip, and she also repeated her plea for the Department of Justice to reopen an investigation into her son's murder. She punctuated her post by saying, "You are a selfish, self-centered person, and God will deal with you, white man." Wow. Now this character, now I like, he's one of these people where you really have to be careful. You have to be careful because people like him aren't all bad in the sense that their opinions. Right. Sometimes there's positive things that he has brought light to. There are positive things that he has said about the issue of police brutality, about racism and white supremacy in America. But we see that ultimately he is very much self-motivated like a lot of these people are.
Well, I mean, first of all, last time I checked, quote, "There is none righteous, no, not one." We all have our good days, our bad days. We all have our saint side and our sinner side, So, if you dig deep enough, you'll find some dirt anywhere you look. And, I mean, we all have a degree of selfishness. Some people can't see beyond the end of their nose. Some people can't see to the end of their nose. But nobody is completely selfless.
Right.
Not even the saintly Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Right. But not embezzlement, though. We're not talking about it. We weren't
right.
Now,
the fact is, if a person is in a position of authority and influence and they aren't really accountable to anyone, as the old saying goes, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. And that's why it's better to not let one person be in charge of the whole henhouse. For example, at the church where I serve, I'm the pastor.
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not the CEO. When
Oh,
when people call and to ask me for money, I have to tell them I don't control the purse strings. You
really?
have to talk to the board
Really?
for the money.
Right.
Now, if you want my assistance in helping you meet with the board, I can help you meet the board
Mm-hmm.
and maybe, introduce you and help you make your case. But I don't get to tell them what to do.
Right.
So there is that. There is that thing. In the case of Shaun King, it sounded like he was the guy that was in charge of the organization. He was the guy that was in charge of the money. He was the guy that was in charge of the dispersion of the money, and he didn't have to answer to anybody.
Right.
The heads of the Black Lives Matter Incorporated, similar situation. Money came in, they weren't answerable to anyone.
Right. I'm glad you brought that up because mothers who have lost their sons during police shootings are criticizing Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrice Cullors, who recently announced that she is parting ways. So she's stepping down because the heat is getting too hot. Again, Samaria Rice, the mother of Tamir Rice, has said they are benefiting off the blood of our loved ones and they won't even talk to us. I don't believe she is going anywhere. Now Miss Colors, Patrice Cullors, was the executive director of Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
She recently announced that she was leaving the organization amid controversy surrounding the group's finances and her personal acquisition of $3.2 million in real estate purchases.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Miss Rice, Tamir Rice's mother, described that announcement, as a facade, and predicted that she was only doing this to get the heat off of her right now. Also, another mother, Lisa Simpson, claimed that she never received funds that Black Lives Matter Los Angeles raised after LAPD officers shot and killed her 18-year-old son in 2016. She said they are raising money in our dead son's name and giving us nothing in return. Now, she doesn't have to show her accountability. She can just take her money and run. Back in March of 2021, I didn't see this, but I'm glad I saw it now. The two mothers released a statement in which they told Tamika Mallory, Shaun King, again, Benjamin Crump, we talked about him on this show,
Mm-hmm.
Lee Merritt, Melina Abdullah, Patrice Cullors, and other leaders of the movement to step down, stand back, and stop capitalizing our, our fight for justice. And I'm like this. And on one level, I'm very angry that this is happening because you see a lot of right wing people, a lot of conservatives. They don't want to talk about social justice at all. They don't want to talk about police brutality at all. They don't want to talk about racism at all. They never have.
Mm-hmm.
They love Martin Luther King, now he's dead, but they didn't want to
Yep.
talk about it when he was alive.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, now these people are gloating because they think that somebody who bring people who bring up police brutality and racism are going to be gone. When really, in my opinion, this can only make the movement stronger because it shows that we are willing, as the black community, to hold people accountable
Mm-hmm.
for what they are doing in our names.
Well, some people on the right have said that a lot of these quote leaders were more interested in profiting off of the pain than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And stories like this, you know, sort of, you know, flesh out that claim.
Right.
I think on in one part of it, these situations happen in local communities,
Mm-hmm.
but national businesses fund these quote national spokespeople
Yep.
so that they can feel good about having done something. And it's like, in essence, they feel like they've bought some cred
Yep.
without even asking because they don't really care to ask what happens with the money. They just want to be able to say that they contributed.
Mm-hmm.
And so the people who supposedly this money in whose name it's raised, they don't have a seat at the table.
Right.
These mothers, they
Nope.
weren't involved in any of the negotiation or whatever that led to these monies being given to these organizations.
They did not.
And in fact, I would imagine that there's not even much they can do legally to stop it.
No. Not a whole lot.
But if people focus on helping the people that need help, uh, helping Tamir Rice's mom, for example. I don't know what her life is like now, but I'm sure having lost her child, her life cannot be hunky dory.
Right.
But much of what she needs to come from the people around her,
That is
her
true.
neighbors, her family, her friends, other people in the community. She shouldn't be, by herself, trying to get past what was done to her son.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And you get the last word there, Rev, because
Wow,
it's
the
time.
clock.
It's time.
All right.
Chop it up with me on Twitter, folks, at the Kim Salute. The Kim is spelled with the K, as I am a product of the Gary Community School System. We can talk about politics, music, sports. You can tell me how terrible I am at this. Where can they find you at, Rev?
This Sunday morning, 9 o'clock, St. John's Evangelical Lutheran Church on 10th and Taft. This Sunday morning, 11 o'clock, at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church, 719 West 25th Avenue. And every Friday, right here with you.
Yes, same bad time, same bad channel. And so for station owner Marion Williams, station manager Natalie Ammon, and Reverend Delwyn Campbell, I am Scott Cannon. This was Issues and Answers on WLTH 1370 AM. God bless the working class. God bless labor. And Rev.
God bless you.
Yes.